looking at the reasons underpinning the government's response to the virus. So here we are. Just before the restrictions on lockdown came into effect, Ben, Alana and their 3 children helped us with an experiment. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely everywhere. It showed how easily respiratory diseases like COVID-19 can be spread in the home. That's incredible how much it spreads just in that few minutes of watching TV.
Yeah.
Now Alana is going to help us expand the test. All right, Alana, so same as before, we're going to put the gel on your hands. It's going to be really interesting to observe how many different surfaces you come into contact with on your daily commute, and then how those would then transfer to other people and other surfaces. You know the drill by now, and when you're ready, let's go. Right. London has been hardest hit by COVID-19, with over 3,000 people testing positive and more than 150 deaths. On a busy day, this underground network would see 2 million passengers pass through. But in the current lockdown, stations are now eerily quiet. A 2011 study showed regular public transport users could be almost 6 times more likely than others to pick up an acute respiratory infection. It's no surprise then that there is a drive to keep people off trains and buses and to stay at home. Crowded trains can act as hotspots for spreading diseases. So I guess on your daily commute, you'd get onto the tube, you'd have a seat, I guess you'd come into contact with loads of surfaces, so you put your hands on the handrest there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You might stand up. Normally it's overcrowded, isn't it? So you might stand up.
I spend a lot of time kind of holding onto a handrail.
Yeah, trying not to fall over.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, as I kind of edge my way looking for a seat, I move down the carriage, absolutely.
So that's already 3 surfaces, isn't it, that you come into contact with? So what does our UV gel on Alana's hands show? So here we've got a lovely handprint.
Yeah.
And up here.
Right, and that's quite a long one because I moved and off.
We're trying to avoid touching that. It's made me paranoid. And we've got a lovely handprint around that folder.
Yeah, and I probably touched the seats.
You've got it on the seat, look, even on the actual fibre of the seat.
And then almost definitely,
look at that. The experiment with the UV gel on Alana's hands illustrates how easily a virus could be transmitted from her to a hard surface and potentially to another tube user. So you're on your daily commute, say that you were infected with coronavirus, you might cough or sneeze into your hand and then touch a surface on the tube, maybe grab hold of the rail to steady yourself. And I then come along as another commuter, put my hand on that same surface. And then if you take a closer look, there it is, the coronavirus all over my hands. I didn't put any of that stuff on my hands when we first started, so this has all come directly from you via a hard surface. The most potentially infectious journeys involve platform changes and the busiest interchange stations where several tube lines can converge with mainline services and buses. More people coming together means more chances of infection with droplet spread diseases like COVID-19. That's the reason why there is a drive to keep people away from hotspots like public transport, shops and offices.
Your hands are going to pick it up from surfaces that you've been on, public transport, tables, chairs, restaurants, cafes, etc. This infection, we believe, is droplet spread. It means that there are secretions from nose and mouth from an infected person that lands onto a surface. So either you get infected by being close to an infectious person, or you get infected by the trail they leave behind.
We've seen how a virus can spread indirectly from surfaces.
Hi, everyone.
But now let's see how it can spread directly from a sneeze or a cough. Not sure I'll ever get used to these elbow shakes, but they make sense. When someone else coughs or sneezes, respiratory droplets are expelled and can land on you. They can then easily be introduced to you if you touch your eyes, mouth or nose. We're going to try to show what happens when someone sneezes using a special camera that shoots in ultra slow motion. The sort of camera that can show a bullet being fired from a gun. This was recorded before the advice for people to avoid contact with others was issued. I've got some water with food colouring in it, so my saliva shows up better for the camera. And then we've got some ground ginger here, which I'm gonna, well, snort really, or sniff. And the idea is that that's gonna agitate my nostrils and induce a sneeze. When you sneeze, as many as 40,000 droplets are expelled from your nose and mouth. But no sneeze. For whatever reason, I just can't sneeze. But other people seem to have no problem performing for the camera. The fluid actually emerges in a sheet and breaks into ligaments, some as long as 3 centimetres and travelling up to 35 metres a second. The cloud of airborne droplets is the final stage. Virologist Elisabetta Grappelli is here to explain what it all means. So as hard as I tried, I just couldn't sneeze.
Actually, in this particular case of the coronavirus, sneezing is not really a symptom for the disease. Coughing is much more relevant to how we spread the virus. It's coughing and the temperature.
So I induced a cough instead. The nose produces between 1 pint and 2 pints of mucus a day. When all is well, that stays within the body. That is disgusting. But a cough will release 3,000 droplets of it, travelling up to 50 miles per hour. So it'd be interesting to see how far my cough travels and if we get a sense of that.
Absolutely.
Should we have a look?
Okay, let's play and see what it's like. Show something. Oh yes, here it comes. Oh wow. Yes, it shows exactly, the kind of force that is used every time you cough, and what it does to any of the droplets of the liquids that you have in your mouth, and therefore the potential for traveling quite long distances. I think is very, very much exemplified in this particular clip.
Of course, this exercise is not scientific, but it does show the potential projection of a cough. According to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, coughing spreads droplets as far as 6 metres.
I understand that this had to be staged to make a point, but it's very realistic. When you have an infection, your lungs, your muscles around your rib cage are quite powerful.
And is the cough just a clever way that the virus actually gets out and spreads itself?
Yeah, the cough is a clever way for the body to get rid of something it doesn't want. But viruses are also quite clever. They have hijacked this mechanism that the body uses to actually transport themselves, to go from one person to another one in a very efficient way.
And how worried should we be if someone does cough in front of us?
I think at the time we are now, it's quite important that we consider that a cough can be a symptom for coronavirus, and that's why we need to be absolutely careful and put measures in place to protect ourselves and others.
The effect of a virus-laden cough on a crowded train or aeroplane is something none of us wants to learn the hard way. Many countries have banned incoming flights, though the UK has yet to take this step. The World Health Organization suggests that if you do find yourself on a plane, you are at highest risk if you're within 2 rows of an infected person. However, during the 2003 SARS epidemic, 22 people were infected by a single fellow traveller, and some of them were outside the 2-row zone. In fact, some were seated as far as 7 rows in front and 5 rows behind the infected passenger.
This plane has one advantage, is a lot of empty seats.
Anxious passengers elsewhere have not been taking any chances. Last week, a video emerged online reportedly accusing British tourists of being COVID-19 carriers.
You was the one breaking the thing, innit? You was with them.
Other passengers saw there was a risk, believing them to have come from a quarantined resort.
Actually, he was the one chatting with them. You make break into the curtain.
I did not.
Another British passenger argued they should just be moved to the rear of the plane.
Yes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the very back row, like in the old days when we used to smoke at the back of the plane.
The captain decided the group had to go.
This is the captain speaking. Final decision is we'll depart without these passengers.
That's fine, thank you very much.
It was a popular decision. So what can we do to protect ourselves in public? Face masks, once a rarity in our public spaces, and now everywhere. But what do the experts say about them?
I think a lot of the masks that people are wearing actually are more beneficial for everybody else. It stops them being infected if the person wearing the mask is coughing or sneezing.
There is no evidence that these gloves or masks out in the public are going to help.
People who are used to wearing face masks, they've been wearing them for years and they're used to that feeling on their face. Whereas if people suddenly start wearing them for the first time now and do then start fiddling around with their faces, and obviously that they do have the virus on their hands, they could then risk them being infected.
So gloves and masks are best in a clinical setting and leave them there. We are where we are. We cannot start to learn new tricks. And if you start to learn new tricks or things, that's where mistakes happen.
Coming up,